Hey guys, I wanted to do a little review video on the new Hom Specter that was just released. Give you some measurements, some weights, and give a little comparison to the knives that we flip and love now. Give you some specs first. Handle length is right on par with a 4X. It's 5.3 inches. The weight, right about beast weight, alpha beast weight, 4.92, and with the lash I know it's 5.03, but it is a little bit shorter than a beast with lighter titanium spacers, so it's going to be much more agile. And it's actually got the same length blade. So same length blade as an alpha beast, a little bit shorter handles and lighter spacers. So those of you that have flipped the alpha beast can probably imagine what that's going to feel like, being a little bit shorter, lighter on the ends with the same length blade. That's going to really increase agility, but it's also going to make the rolls so you have to give your momentum to the knife. It's not going to auto roll like an alpha beast will. Hardware of the knife, you have your T10 Torx just like it should be, 1/4 inch bushings with 3/16 pivots. It's got the Hom tuned bushing system, which if you've ever owned a Hom, you know how good it is. That's what kind of play, I mean, that's basically handle flex. This thing has no play with that kind of smooth action. So just perfect. And that S35 VN blade is dead center in that handle with absolutely no rub on either side, and the blade, the handle flex that it does have is equal on both sides, so that the tolerances are absolutely amazing on this knife. Moving down to the spacers, it's got titanium spacers with a nice curve in them to wrap around the blade when it closes. What I really liked that he did was make them double-sided T8 Torx, because I know a lot of guys are having problems getting their latches out of their Prodigies. So Jerry heard that complaint and remedied it by making double-sided pivots, so you can just put in 2 drivers if it is giving you a problem and take out those screws without any issues. Another thing he did from past problems is round the signature Hom horns. You can see here where he did round them, you can see whatever he used is not uniform on both sides. But to tell you the truth, I would rather have this small visual imperfection than have it pinched like a Prodigy does. And I did own a Prodigy, and it did pinch like a crab. So this knife has not pinched me at all yet. So this little fix here has worked wonders. Nice big fat tang pins with the nice big tang cups. So this was something that I addressed. I actually asked him personally about the handle distance. I felt like it was a little close compared to some of the knives. You can see how close it is, but he said with the nice fat pins and the cup design like it is, that distance is not going to change on you. So that was a concern I had. I asked about it, and he cleared it up that quick. A company you can literally talk to the owner about. That's rare. Another nice thing is the polished inside. He's calling this a butterfly slot, or a butterfly opening. The insides are actually polished, as well as the holes. The inside of the holes are polished. So in this, you can see I removed my bead blast finish, but with the matte bead blast, the inside of the polish, it highlights really well with the knife. Now onto that bead blast finish that I actually removed. I talked to a lot of guys, and the guys that I talk to do not like bead blast on a knife, and that's what the Specter comes with. The edition that's out now comes with bead blast matte gray on the handles. I feel like it's way too sticky. I feel like it marks up way too easily. Now this knife, right out of the box, had about 5 marks between the 2 handles, where you can see whoever assembled it let the driver run into the handles, just that little bit, and those marks can never be taken out. In bead blast, you can mark it with your thumbnail, and that mark will be there forever. That's just not something that I want to have on my finish. And me being a flipper, I bought this knife to flip. The big thing about bead blast for me is the performance, the way it affects the performance. It makes chaplains feel too sticky. Between your fingers, it just doesn't, it feels like it needs more slide to it than it has. Really don't like bead blast on any balisong, never will. First time I seen it was on a Tachyon, and I took it right off of there, just like I took it right off of the Specter. I'll never care for it. But some guys like it, apparently that's why Jerry put it on there, but I really don't like it. It makes it too sticky, it marks up way too easily. Another small thing that I noticed is my blade had a couple of tiny little vertical scratches on it. Flippers aren't really going to care about that. You're going to put marks on your knife anyways, but those guys that are having these for safe cleans, that's an issue. You don't want any marks on your mint condition knife, so that's a little issue that needs to be taken care of. One positive about the blade is that S35 VN steel. That's the same steel on a Chris Reeve Sabenza Hinder XM18. That's a super steel. Very corrosion resistant, razor sharp edge right out of the box. You can shave with this, no problem, and that blade is going to last, or that edge is going to last like that forever. Strop it a few times. This thing will be slicing into your fingers for years to come. And if you're going to cut anything besides your own fingers, it's going to hold up for you great if you're going to actually use this blade. So big plus, aside from the very tiny little marks I had in my blade. Looks like just an assembly. Looks like maybe it was set on top of some screws or something as minor as that. But there are a few marks in it, and paying what you do pay for the balisongs that we buy, and seeing marks in it, that's just not something you want to happen. Overall, fit and finish, being a flipper, I can't complain about the tiny little marks that came in it. Now, the precision is what I'm looking for. The dead center blade, the tolerances, the lack of play, that's the fit and finish that I care about. So for me, this knife is on point. Everything about it except for that finish. That is the only thing I would change about the Hom Specter, is that finish. I think if he had a version that had a satin finish, it would sell like hotcakes, because a lot of guys that I know just don't care for that bead blast finish. Flippability, if you've owned a Hom knife, you know just how smooth those Hom bushings are. I mean, they're incredible. They feel like glass. Very quiet with those nice beefy pins and the big cups. Very precise feeling knife with the no play, and it just, for being a 5-ounce knife, you would swear this was lighter, or at least I would. Flips fantastic. For me, being used to a little bit lighter of a knife, it took very little adjustment for me to get used to this. Now that it's satin, this is absolutely one of my favorite knives. So you guys, after hearing this, I hope you guys go out and get one. They're $430. I do know a little bit more will be released from Blade HQ in a bit, so go out and get your Hom Specters, guys. That way you can really see how great these knives are. Thanks a lot for watching.